Welcome to Meets Woodshop. And making this really fancy clipboard for your damper and eye protection. Let's drill some holes. Join me in making this awesome beer mug. So I'm actually really happy with this. I think it looks really nice. My dovetails. I did not think that I was going to be making a technique. I'm Caleb with Means Woodshop, and today we're going to make a crosscut sled. If you're woodworking and you're using a table saw, which you inevitably will, eventually you're going to want to make yourself a crosscut sled. All table saws come with a miter gauge of some form or another. Those are pretty handy for making crosscuts, but eventually you want a little bit more accuracy and you want a little bit more versatility than what a miter gauge can offer. This is the crosscut sled I made not too long after I got this table saw. I did a suck-ass job making it. The main problem is the runners that I made for it, and these are little strips of oak and they're glued and screwed on, and one of the problems I had was I didn't countersink the holes, and I thought if I pre-drilled my holes then they would just kind of bury themselves in there. Well, they still split, and these runners I made, they're too small. For one, they're too short, and for two, they're just a little bit too narrow. So what I get is when I'm trying to run this through my table saw, it can kind of rock a little bit back and forth. It's time for this crosscut sled to go. I went out and I got this piece of plywood, which is gonna make my new crosscut sled, and I'm excited. Run a line right there so I could take that off. I have this smooth cast white semi-rigid urethane resin. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my already existing miter slots as a mold and dump this into that. I've got this mold release that I'm going to spray the miter slots with, so hopefully when this cures I'll be able to get the plastic runners out with this, and they'll be a perfect match for my table saw. If this doesn't work, then this is gonna bond to the tabletop of my table saw, and I'm gonna have a hell of a time trying to get them out. Hopefully that mold release works and I could get those out of there, because if not, they will be a permanent addition to the table saw and I will have to get them out, and it will be extremely difficult. That's the router hen. It has a odd obsession with my router table. So that was kind of a fail. And this is kind of, I think I will use this one though. The other one, well, that's what it looked like, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to use this one. So I did have some scrap wood laying around, and I guess I'll go with a wooden runner. Okay, since I've got a wooden runner and a plastic runner, I'm gonna have to use two different forms of glue to attach them. It actually slides very well. That will also act as a pivot so I can adjust the fence accordingly. Let's do a test cut on this. Looks good. Alright, so that's it for my crosscut sled. You could tell I didn't put a back fence on there. I don't like having a back fence because a lot of times I have my riving knife up still. If there's a back fence on there, I can't just drop it in like this. Maybe the plastic runners weren't such a good idea. It looks ugly, but it actually slides very well. See, I have no problems out of it. It doesn't wiggle around. It just looks ugly. So I guess that's my worst sin here.
That thing recording? Am I gonna be on TV?
This is a crosscut sled. Do you know what you do with it?
Do you ride down the snowy slopes with it? Could.
You could try.
Be like one of them fellers on the old Tony Hawk games.
And it's got a safety block on here so Adam doesn't hurt his hands. Don't do the resin runners, or you could try that if you know what you're doing more than I do. So that was kind of a fail, but I still ended up with a much better crosscut sled. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel too. I have new woodworking projects every week. Also, you could hit the little notification bell too and get notified every time I upload a new project video.
Ding!
I think that's it.
That's it. Go.
Get out of my shop.